That's exactly what I'm saying, because I think it makes a mockery of the women's game. If the focus on, okay, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their intention, and they're not as talented, we're not putting the best team.
I have no idea how these WNBA analysts think, what goes through their minds, or how ESPN can hire them to discuss the WNBA and present such viewpoints. Famous ESPN host Molly Kareem's comments on Caitlin Clark, one of the WNBA's emerging stars, sparked a major uproar in the sports world. Her remarks on live television not only caused indignation, but I also don't understand how these WNBA commentators think, what goes through their minds, or how ESPN can hire them to discuss the WNBA and express such viewpoints. Famous ESPN host Molly Kareem's comments on Caitlin Clark, one of the WNBA's emerging stars, sparked a major uproar in the sports world. In addition to inciting indignation, her remarks on live television also.
All I gotta say is she's lucky this UConn team isn't healthy. And that's a true statement.
That's not. That's wrong, Molly.
Monica,
that's wrong, Molly. Molly,
like
it's excuses.
5 top players,
it's excuses,
am I right?
Molly. It's excuses.
Major injury.
You would not be saying that if it wasn't UConn.
Major stars not playing.
Listen, excuse me. It's her against Caitlin Clark.
Stephen A.
Ain't no excuses.
Stephen
you
A.
got there.
Wait a minute.
No, want to hear that now.
Stephen A.
Let me tell you, if
Paige
Georgetown get back in the mix, I'm going to be insufferable. I'm just telling you that now.
What?
If Paige Beckerson basically missed 2 seasons, I don't know if we'd be talking about Caitlin Clark.
During her college basketball career, Caitlin Clark first gained notoriety for her outstanding on-court prowess. She soon gained widespread recognition for her outstanding basketball IQ, playmaking abilities, and leadership on the court in addition to her scoring prowess. At the University of Iowa, Clark was a standout who routinely led her team to wins and broke many records. She was one of the most thrilling players to watch because of her capacity to make long three-pointers, set up scoring opportunities for her teammates, and execute under duress. It seemed obvious that she would have an immediate impact in the WNBA as many commentators and fans started comparing her to some of the greatest women's basketball players of all time. Nevertheless, Caitlin Clark had a difficult time winning the attention of some members of the sports media despite her outstanding undergraduate record. This takes us to Molly Kareem's contentious comments, which not only minimized Clark's skills but also brought attention to a more significant problem with how major media sources cover women's sports. Molly Kareem didn't hold back when she used the radio to express her thoughts about Caitlin Clark. According to Kareem, athletes like Clark were garnering attention to the WNBA for the wrong reasons rather than actually providing value to the league. Kareem claims that more than her skill on the basketball court, Caitlin Clark's enormous fan base and media attention were more about her marketability. She even implied that Clark wasn't gifted enough to be regarded as one of the top players in the WNBA, saying that her existence in the league was a mockery of the women's game. Despite the controversy surrounding her name, Caitlin has persisted in doing her thing on the pitch, setting records, and exuding a certain aura. She refuses to listen to critics and instead acts with such grace in all she does. Instead of focusing on what people are saying about her, Caitlin lets her conversation flow naturally. In addition to being hurtful, these remarks seem to devalue the effort and commitment Caitlin Clark had made to become into the player she is today. Hearing such public criticism from a well-known character in sports media must have been depressing for a young athlete like Clark, who had repeatedly shown herself. However, the tendency of some media figures to minimize the accomplishments of female athletes, especially when those women are smashing records and establishing new benchmarks for excellence in their respective sports, was more than just a personal attack on Clark Kareem's remarks. The notion that Caitlin Clark was only bringing attention to the WNBA without genuinely improving the standard of play was one of the things Molly Kareem emphasized. In addition to being false, this claim ignores the contribution that players like Clark make to the league's expansion. For a long time, the WNBA has been unable to get the same level of interest as the NBA, its male equivalent. This is a result of both societal prejudices and inadequate media coverage, not a lack of talent or skill among the players. It should be viewed as a good thing for women's basketball when a player like Caitlin Clark joins the league and starts attracting new fans. For the league to continue expanding and earning recognition on a broader scale, Clark's capacity to draw more spectators to the game through both her on-court and off-court appeal is exactly what it needs. However, Kareem's remarks seem to paint this increased attention in a negative light, as if the addition of a player who may draw in more viewers somehow devalued the WNBA. This viewpoint ignores the fact that viewership and marketability are essential to a league's success and long-term viability in professional sports. Caitlin Clark is doing just what the WNBA needs to succeed if she is both producing at a high level and contributing to the league's growth. Molly Karam's criticism of Caitlin Clark's rejection from Team USA was another point of contention. Caitlin Clark was not chosen to compete internationally for the United States despite her stellar collegiate record and apparent potential. Although many supporters expressed disapproval of this choice, Karam publicly endorsed it and expressed happiness that Clark had been left off the roster. Despite being ruled out, Clark maintained her humility, acknowledged the difficulty of competing for the United States in the Olympics, and stated that she will keep getting better and hope to be chosen for 2028 once more. She exudes aura.
I think I'm excited for the girls that are on the team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world, and I know it could have gone either way, of me being on the team, me not being on the team. So, I'm excited for them. I'm going to be rooting them on to win gold. I was a kid that grew up watching the Olympics, so it'll be fun to watch them.
What was your level of disappointment not hearing your name on the roster?
Honestly, no disappointment. I think it just gives you something to work for. It's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
Given Clark's outstanding results in the NCAA, many found Karam's argument that Clark just wasn't skilled enough to compete at the international level to be puzzling. In addition to being incorrect, the idea that a player of Clark's caliber shouldn't be on Team USA seemed to reveal a deeper prejudice against her. As is frequently the case in sports, the best way to silence critics is through performance, and Caitlin Clark has done just that. Karam's public celebration of Clark's exclusion felt like an unwarranted attack on a young player who was already facing an uphill battle for recognition in the professional ranks. Following Karim's critical remarks and her removal from Team USA, Clark has persisted in letting her performance speak for itself. Her WNBA performances have been nothing short of outstanding, especially when she has faced elite teams like the Los Angeles Sparks and the Chicago Sky. Clark demonstrated her entire skill set in these games, from her ability to create plays, score goals, and inspire her teammates. She not only helped her team win, but she did so in a way that demonstrated her skill. Clark's stats speak for themselves. Triple-doubles, game-winning shots, and clutch performances are now commonplace. Molly Karam quickly started to change her mind. Karam publicly retracted some of her earlier remarks after seeing Clark's amazing performances, saying that she had never really questioned Clark's potential. In sharp contrast to her prior remarks, she continued by praising Clark as one of the league's top players. Although it's admirable that Karam eventually saw Clark's potential, the abrupt change in perspective called into question the validity of her first criticism. Caitlin Clark's flip-flop by Molly Karam is not an isolated instance. It is a component of a broader problem in the media, especially with regard to coverage of women's sports. All too frequently, pundits and analysts make snap decisions about players without fully comprehending their skills or the subtleties of the game. In Clark's case, the early rejection of her skill was not only unjust but also a sign of a larger issue with the coverage of female sports.
Be honest with ourselves. If you want to vote for Angel Reese, just be honest for the reason why you're voting for her. Caitlin Clark leads all rookies in pretty much every statistic except rebounding. And Angel Reese is a big, and she should be beating most people in rebounds, but you escape the fact that she's collecting 2 or 3 of her own missed layups and hoarding those rebounds. Caitlin Clark has turnovers because her teammates are fumbling the ball. And yes, she does mismanage the ball at times, but people act like she's just giving the ball up every possession. Caitlin Clark affects the entire game. So if you're making a basketball decision, then Caitlin Clark is easily the Rookie of the Year. And if you want to vote for Angel Reese, or you say Angel Reese is Rookie of the Year, that's cool too. Just be honest about the reason why you think.
The athletes and the league's overall credibility are both harmed by inconsistent analysis. The validity of the sport is undermined and a sense of instability is created when media figures constantly alter their perspectives. Fans are left wondering if these analysts actually understand what they're talking about or if they're just stating whatever would fit the current storyline or create the most attention. In a league like the WNBA, which is still battling for the respect it merits, this is especially detrimental. It can be detrimental to the league's attempts to be recognized as a significant professional sports organization when commentators make prejudiced or ignorant remarks. Such contradictory analysis is not only annoying for players like Caitlin Clark, who are working non-stop to increase the level of competition and attract more spectators to the game, but it is also harmful to the development of the sport. Analysts and commentators have a big influence on how the public views players and sports leagues, which is one of the reasons Molly Karam's remarks were so harmful. The way players are depicted in the media can have a significant influence on how the general public views them in the WNBA, a league that is still vying for widespread recognition. When a well-known somebody like Karam makes audacious, baseless statements against a player like Caitlin Clark, it affects how casual fans see that player. Fans may be less likely to watch Clark play or support the league if they believe she is just a marketing gimmick rather than a true talent. Because every fan matters in a league like the WNBA, it is crucial for analysts to be impartial and precise in their evaluations. Furthermore, viewers may become confused when pundits like Karam abruptly change their minds. It's difficult for fans to know what to trust when Caitlin Clark is praised as one of the league's greatest players one day and written off as a parody of the game the next. Fans may find it challenging to completely interact with the media as a result of this inconsistency.